This podcast is a member of the King of Wrestling Radio. Go to kowradio.weebly.com for more.
That's the one thing about our audience. They always want a new guy to break through the glass ceiling.
All you have to do is just be real.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I am the jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, talking is done, you're out of your class, no sleep till Brooklyn, The Rock whips your ass. Woo!
I wish you and King would quit talking.
Welcome to Around the Ring, episode 23 for today, Monday, June 29th, 2015. I'm your host, Dave Brown. You can catch Around the Ring every week on, first and foremost, you can catch us on the Kings of Wrestling Radio at kowradio.weebly.com. Our episodes air on Tuesday evenings. That's when these new episodes hit. You can also check us out at k98talk.com or the mirror station k98talk.org. You can also hear us on the Spark Radio Network and just on our own homepage at aroundtheringok.wordpress.com. Please also feel free to follow us on the Facebook and the Twitter. The handle on both is Around the Ring OK. Just do a search for that and you'll find us there. And so this week in wrestling, we've got a whole lot of people leaving TNA. We had an excellent episode of Ring of Honor. Raw pretty much blew. And the Nature Boy Buddy Landel passed away last Monday after the recording of this show. So this week we're going to talk about all of that and plus some other stuff. So we'll get right into it. Let's start off with TNA. Last night, TNA had their first pay-per-view in quite a long time, Slammiversary. I did not watch it, and I haven't watched it this morning. I'm probably not going to, because I'm just not much of a TNA fan. You know, there's some talent, and I've talked about this before. There's talent in TNA that I really, really like. There's some folks there that I think are great workers that I would love to see somewhere else, be it Ring of Honor, WWE, NXT, Lucha Underground, just about anywhere. There's just something about TNA that just reeks of awful. And I think some of it is the fact that everything I've pretty much watched in TNA, with the exception of these people who are really good, really reminds me of the last final days of WCW. And I was a huge WCW fan, but toward the end, the Vince Russo time, the Jeff Jarrett at the end getting the championship time, it was pretty awful. I mean, about the only good thing to come out of that was Booker T becoming the world champion 5 times. But that, otherwise, that was some pretty dark days for not just WCW, but wrestling in general. And TNA, when it was put together by Jarrett and his father, it basically was all of those WCW guys, especially the production people, the creative people, that were, not picked up by WWE when WWE bought them. And from there, they brought in new talent. They brought guys from the Indies, from Ring of Honor, and even some, guys who'd been signed to WCW for a very short amount of time, like AJ Styles, and they brought them in to create their whole new brand. And they had the 6-sided ring, which is apparently the same kind of ring that AAA uses, which I freaking hate. But everything about TNA has always just smacked of amateur, what's the word I'm looking for? Amateur hour and desperation. And looking at the results of this Slammiversary, it's no different. I mean, first of all, they've already, some of the results for this pay-per-view were to lead up to things that they've already recorded for upcoming episodes of Impact. They've done a huge set of recording down in Orlando at the Impact Zone, and there are real serious disadvantages when you record that far out. And to some extent, I think we're seeing a little bit of that with Ring of Honor after the Best in the World pay-per-view, where they really haven't talked about Best in the World results. They didn't this week, probably because this episode was recorded either right before or maybe right after the pay-per-view, and they're still wanting, because there's still replays going on iPay-per-view, so they're wanting people to watch it. But with Impact, I mean, they record 4 or 5 months worth in like 4 days. And that's asinine. I mean, from the standpoint of, this is not a touring company, this is not a brand that goes out and does house shows, so I can kind of understand, let's just get a whole bunch done in one fell swoop, get everyone in, and then people can go back on to doing what they do. But it creates for bad storytelling, and it creates for situations like you already have a new crowned world champion that we're not going to see for weeks in EC3, and you're going to have matches that build up to a tag team championship match, which has already been recorded, and it's just kind of sad. Then you also have, this last week on Impact, you had Jeff Jarrett show up in a Global Force Wrestling t-shirt saying he's going to enter the King of the Mountain match, which is, I'd never seen. This week on Solid Monster Show, he explained it. It made my head hurt. That's all we're going to say about that. Well, Jarrett won. What this exactly means for this brand new belt that TNA has created, which is ugly as hell, for a title they've never had before with no prestige. I mean, it's stupid, and it screams of desperation. But let's talk about really the interesting thing. I mean, other than TNA folks that work there haven't gotten paid and probably aren't going to get paid for the work they did last month until halfway through next month, which is pretty effed up if you ask me. But let's talk about the people who have left TNA, or what I like to refer to as the mass exodus from TNA. So, well, within the last few months, we had Samoa Joe and Low Ki left. But just recently, I mean, we are talking in the last week to 2 weeks, Gunner, Sam Shaw, James Storm, Magnus, Mickie James, Austin Aries, Awesome Kong, and Taryn Terrell. Okay, so some of these are pretty big deal. Storm and Aries, particularly, and Magnus, former world champion. I mean, these are some big names. Awesome Kong and Taryn Terrell, huge in their knockouts division. So their roster was already incredibly thin. And now they just lost, within the last few months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. 10 people. A number of which are originals. James Storm, Austin Aries, even Gunner. Now, Gunner was asked to leave, basically was given a release, same with Sam Shaw. James Storm and Magnus asked to be released and were granted, though they might come back, and even Gunner might come back. And actually, Storm and Magnus are apparently scheduled for some upcoming Impact trainings. But essentially what's happened, my understanding is, they've been let go of their exclusive contracts, so they can go work wherever the hell they want to work. And it doesn't matter if it's TV taping or not. So they've been freed up. I would love to see some of these guys, James Storm, Magnus, Austin Aries. I would love to see these guys in NXT, or at the very least on Ring of Honor. So we're going to see them wind up somewhere, or even Lucha Underground. That would be great. Well, all these guys and gals are really talented. We'll see them somewhere. Just look at Samoa Joe's killing it in NXT right now, so maybe some of these guys will be able to follow suit, and hopefully with TNA falling apart, no longer being any form of competition to WWE, and with the success of Samoa Joe, maybe that's going to wipe some of the stink off of TNA talent that's actually really good. I mean, hell, they're apparently interested now in AJ Styles, which they were never interested in before, which I think is pretty interesting. So yeah, TNA is in bad shape, and as far as we know, come September, they still have no TV deal. once that TV deal is done, it's game over, man. I don't see how they survive. But we'll see. I mean, hell, they don't have money to pay their people. So yeah, that is pretty much that with TNA. I mean, I wish everyone there the best of luck. Lord knows I do not want the company to shut down. Just because I don't enjoy the product doesn't mean I want either A, the company to go out of business, or more importantly, B, for all these people to lose their jobs. I mean, these people have families to support and they need their income. Not that they're getting paid lately. That's a whole other story. Also, I think the more major or larger companies we have in professional wrestling, the better. The better for the fans, better for us, the fans. The more things that can be out there, the more places that wrestlers can work other than TNA and make a living is a very, very good thing. I mean, other than WWE, not other than TNA. So the more places other than WWE that the talent can go to work and make a living, the better. Now, will eventually we ever get an organization that grows to the point of being, say, a WCW size and going against WWE? I highly doubt it. What's more likely to happen is we will see a number of smaller to mid-sized promotions around the size of, say, a Ring of Honor, and kind of like what we have going on with these Wednesday night wars, where you have a number of national smaller promotions that are really making a name for themselves and becoming getting a lot of buzz and becoming something that people are enjoying. Now, would this be direct competition with WWE? No, because I think these organizations are going for a different market. They're going for full-blown wrestling fans, not the casual fans. So I see them competing definitely with NXT. So you're going to have this, you've got the main roster WWE doing their thing, but then right underneath that surface, you're going to have NXT, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, and maybe some other company, be it Global Force Wrestling, even though Global Force Wrestling honestly just looks like TNA 2.0. It's a colossal failure already. They're pulling a few hundred people if they're lucky on these house shows. They have the roster looks like any other Joe Schmo independent roster put together. It's just bad. And it's Jeff Jarrett, and I don't know the guy personally. I have no ill will toward him or his family, but as a wrestling personality, as a wrestler, and as someone who runs an organization, the man sucks. Okay? Jeff Jarrett just sucks at his job. He spent an entire career, he made a career out of himself for essentially being a hillbilly version of Ric Flair. Ric Flair's been billed from the South, but he's from Minnesota originally. And Jeff Jarrett is from the South, deep Tennessee South. And he has made a career of trying to be a country singer version of Ric Flair. And it's awful. It's always been awful. I hated him in WWE. I hated him in WCW. He's just a tool and a half. Again, I don't know the man personally. I'm talking about his work in wrestling. So Global Force Wrestling, I have no hope for this crap. I wish them luck. I hope they do well. Lord knows wrestling needs more strong, larger organizations. I just don't think that's going to be it. I think in the future we're going to see Ring of Honor. Excuse me, I'm sorry. As of it's 7:13 in the morning as I'm recording this right now. So, and I've been up since like 5:30. So forgive me if I yawn. But I think we're going to see Ring of Honor grow now with some national TV exposure on cable TV, especially if they can stick around on Destination America for a while and maybe get to a bigger network. I think we're going to continue to see NXT grow and prosper. I'm really hoping Lucha Underground is going to get a second season, and I think it's going to continue to grow, even though it's not really a traditional promotion. But maybe we'll see something like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla gain some exposure. I don't know. A lot of the smaller indies, the PWGs, the CZWs, I really don't know a whole lot about those organizations, so I can't comment much on them. I've seen a few matches here and there, and maybe New Japan, they've got their deal on Access, maybe that continues to go well, but what would be really good for New Japan is for them to show new content and to have new shows with new episodes and whatnot of what's going on currently. That would be a lot better than just rehashing stuff from a year ago. But we'll see. So yeah, TNA's in a world of hurt. And, other than Raw, which we'll talk about a little later, that's pretty much the bad. And one other thing which we'll also talk about soon. Let's talk about something really good. Ring of Honor this week. Ring of Honor this week was excellent. We had a match between... Well, the show opened up with a match between Roderick Strong and Nakamura Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm really terrible with the Japanese names. It was a lot of fun match, and it was just a lot of fun. There was a match that honestly I fast forwarded through, which was Michael Elgin versus Greedo. Didn't watch it, didn't care. But this main event, holy God. It was faction versus faction, the Bullet Club versus Chaos. And so it was AJ Styles and the Young Bucks against Okada, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero, whose tag team name I have completely forgotten. And the website that I'm looking at does not tell me the name of their tag team. Well, anyway, this match was so much fun, and there's just no way in hell I can go through and tell you what happened throughout the whole thing. It was a spot fest at times. The crowd was just absolutely apeshit for it, and it was a lot of fun. Lot of fun. I mean, you've got the Young Bucks, who are probably the best tag team in the world right now, and AJ Styles, who's probably the best wrestler in the world right now. You cannot go wrong with this. And they did their... The end was just... Well, first of all, just go out and find the match. It's online. You can just watch the whole episode. But you can find this. It's definitely one to watch. And if you've never watched Ring of Honor, this is a great place to start. Because it's essentially... The show starts, boom, match, show ends. So there's not a whole lot of backstory that you have to try to figure out. It's just a lot of fun. But the end of the match came, AJ Styles gets, I think it's Beretta, I forget which one, hits him with a pile driver, a tombstone-like pile driver, but the way he's holding them is it's not belly to belly, it's belly to back. He then hands this dude off to one of the Young Bucks, I'm not sure which one, and the Young Bucks go and do what they call the Indie Taker, and it's a tombstone pile driver, a spiked tombstone pile driver. And from there, they hand the guy back off to AJ Styles, who gets ready for Styles Clash, but not before the Young Bucks give this dude a super kick to the chest, and then AJ hits him with Styles Clash, and it's over. There's another great spot, and this was actually a spot they did in Best of the World, but they did to Maria Kanellis. But there's a spot where the Young Bucks simultaneously hit a super kick. Each of them hit a super kick, while AJ Styles threw a Pele kick. All three hit at the same time. It was a beauty to behold. It's wrestling like that, man. Fans bitch and moan about the state of pro wrestling right now, rightfully so, because there's some bad shit on TV. But one thing you really can't complain about is the in-ring talent. I'd almost say that talent in-ring wise is better than it's ever been. I mean, with guys like AJ Styles and the Young Bucks, guys like Dolph Ziggler, guys like Ricochet / Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, Jay Lethal, Jay Briscoe, Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, I'd say Daniel Bryan if he can ever get healed, even Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Adrian Neville, hell, the entire NXT crew. So you've got just butt tons of talent out there. So as far as in-ring stuff, I don't think we're in a glory days as far as in-ring work and talent is concerned. Storytelling kind of blows at times, and there's tons of mismanagement, tons of bad writing, but really the in-ring work is top notch, and I enjoy the hell out of that. So where was I going with this? Oh, well, the gist of this whole thing is this is a kick-ass match, a great show. Again, if you haven't been watching Ring of Honor, you need to watch Ring of Honor. It is really, really good. Before we get on to the WWE things, let's talk a little bit about Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground this week was also quite good. We had, let's see here. We had, the best parts were, Sexy Star has a match with Superfly at the beginning, and Sexy Star had unmasked Superfly, and so that got pretty intense. Then there was supposed to be a 5-way match for one of the Aztec medallions. Pentagon Jr. comes out and basically says, I really don't care about this. I just want revenge for my master, for the guy who prevented me from getting a sacrifice, which is Vampiro. Gets up in Vampiro's face. The crowd is going absolutely buff-fucking-listic and loving it. And they have they push a little bit and shove each other, and Pentagon leaves. There was then that 4-way match, which was, it turned into a fatal 4-way, which was Aerostar, Marty the Moth, they call him Cage, and the Mac. And it was a lot of fun. There were some ridiculous spots. One of the craziest things was Mac hit Cage with an exploder suplex on the apron. It just was brutal. Somehow Aerostar won this. He pinned Marty the Moth. It was a fun match. And then we had just a brutal ass main event with Mil Muertes going against Drago, and this was for the number 1 contender, the winner, to face Prince Puma for the Lucha Underground Championship at Ultima Lucha. And it was it was a brutal match, and Mil just in some ways manhandled Drago, which kind of sucked because Drago's awesome. But Mil Muertes is this huge beast. He's almost like Lucha Underground's Brock Lesnar in that he is this nearly unstoppable force. He has been beaten, so he's beatable. But he, now with this renewed vigor that he has, he's just going in and tearing MFers a new one. So we're going to have at the Ultima Lucha, which I think is basically their season finale. It's going to be Prince Puma defending the Lucha Underground Championship against Mil Muertes. We're also going to have a match, Johnny Mundo against Alberto El Patron. So those 2 matches right there make this must-see. So it's going to be fantastic. The other cool thing with Lucha Underground right now is Season 2 has not been announced, so which I'm concerned about because I'm really enjoying the show. But Lucha Underground could be up for an Emmy. They are eligible for the Outstanding Structured Reality Program category. It's the same category shows like No Limits, Mythbusters, Impractical Jokers, Love It or List It and Millionaire Matchmaker end up going in. And admittedly, of those shows, because I'm reading this off of a story at WrestlingInc.com, I know Mythbusters and I know Love It or List It, because my daughter and I, my daughter really got into a lot of the HGTV shows. Love It or List It was one, Property Brothers was another, and so we've watched a ton of those on Netflix, which, I enjoy them, they're fun. But that has nothing to do with Lucha Underground. Anywho, Lucha Underground could be up for an Emmy nomination. I really hope it gets nominated, because it is a hell of a show. The production is incredible. It's just a great show, and if nothing else, it would so piss WWE off, especially that jerkwad Kevin Dunn. Oh, that would be great. So let's hope that the Emmy committee, or whoever, I can't remember what that group of people is that do the Emmys, let's hope they vote for Lucha Underground for this category, and let's also hope Lucha Underground gets a season 2. So let's go on to WWE this week. First, let's talk about NXT. So this week on NXT, we had the main gist of it is it's setting up for Owens Balor 2.0, which will happen in Tokyo on July 4th, early in the morning. It's like 5:30 Eastern is when this thing is going to air. It was essentially going to be a house show. They've turned it into a network special, and it has a lineup of, it's being called the Beast from the East, because Brock Lesnar will have a match against Kofi Kingston, which I'm very much looking forward to. There's also going to be a Divas 3-way title match that sounds awful. There's going to be a match between Diego and Cesaro. That's a head-scratcher, but, it might not suck. And then there is what is probably going to be the main event of the night. If it's not, the Brock Lesnar match will be. Kevin Owens defending the NXT Championship against Finn Balor. In the last 2 weeks on NXT, they've been showing these little mini documentaries about Finn Balor's career, and next week will be the third part, which will be talking about him in NXT. And I'm really hoping that they will show that moment where it said Prince Devitt on the NXT Titantron and then change to Finn Balor, but they probably won't. This week it really talked about that thing talked about his time in New Japan. It showed lots of shirts, showed lots of Bullet Club merchandise, and it was just an excellent little documentary. And you know what? I will give WWE props. One thing they do extremely well are these documentaries. They do them very, very well. I haven't had a chance to watch the one Remembering the Dream, the one about Dusty Rhodes. I do plan on watching it, just haven't gotten around to it. But this little Finn Balor thing has been great. They're going to put it all together for a 30-minute special on the network, which is going to air, I think, the day before the event in Tokyo. So that's going to be awesome. But the show opened up with Hideo Itami in the ring talking about his injury. Kevin Owens came out and said, basically, look, I want an apology from you for implying that I hurt you, because I didn't. And for you saying I'm a bad person. And Tommy was like, well, you are a terrible human being, which Kevin Owens responded along the lines of, well, if I'm going to get blamed for it anyway, I might as well do something to you. There was also this great moment where Kevin Owens, he tripped up on his words, and he was talking about people being delusional, and he screwed up, and the crowd started laughing at him, and he just didn't miss a beat. And just kept going and picked up basically saying, yeah, I'm stepping over my words. I sound like Hideo trying to speak English. And it was just off the cuff. It was hilarious. Kevin Owens is a hell of a promo, hell of a talent. And so we had Owens heading down to the ring to beat up Itami. Finn Balor comes out for the save. They brawl. There's a great moment. So the stage area when you come out to the ring, has this ramp that goes down, but on the side of the ramps, you can walk backstage, and Owens is off on the side of the ramp, and Finn Balor just does this running jump, flying forearm shot, kind of like the one AJ Styles does off the top rope. Gets ready to do a to do a coup de grace, double foot stomp off of the stage onto Kevin Owens, but gets attacked by Rhino, which sets up a main event between Rhino and Finn Balor. Rhino's still pissed at Balor. There was a match with Cass and Enzo against that one dude who is looking for tag team partners, and Sylvester Lafort, who is just god-awful. What was fun about that is Cass and Enzo. Those two are great. And there was a match with Dana Brooke. Yeah, less said about that, the better. She's awful. Just, don't like her. Then we had the main event. From what I saw of it, and I haven't had a chance to finish watching it yet, pretty good match, but then it did, and I read about the ending, ended up Balor gets a win, Kevin Owens comes out for beatdown, beatdown starts to ensue, Samoa Joe comes out, which sets up for next week a tag team match main event, Kevin Owens and Rhino against Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. I'm very much looking forward to that. But I'm also really looking forward to this match in Tokyo. I think this is when we will see Finn Balor win the NXT Championship. Originally, the plan was for this to be Hideo Itami, and unfortunately, Itami got hurt and is having soldier surgery, had soldier surgery, so he couldn't do it, and that sucks. But, we're going to get Finn Balor, and it's going to be great. They've got to get the NXT title off of Kevin Owens, because he really needs to focus on his stuff in the main roster. I mean, his feud with John Cena is fantastic. He is doing great work. I just hope they don't screw him up after this feud with Cena is over, or try to. He's one of those guys I don't think they really can screw up too much. They can just misuse the hell out of him. But he's like Finn Balor in that Finn Balor I don't think they can screw up. So yeah, I think we're gonna see. Balor walk away with the title, and I'm looking forward to it. Since I tend to get up early anyway, I may watch that as soon as I get up. I don't know, but we'll see. So that takes us to Raw for this week. And, I actually kind of took notes as I was watching it. I didn't do that with any of the other shows this week, but I kind of took some notes as I was going on. So we'll talk a little bit about this. But Raw this week, honestly, not good. Paul Heyman did a great promo because he's fucking Paul Heyman. And here's something that annoys the hell out of me, and I know some others have talked about it on other shows, but the amount of replays that the WWE does, constantly replaying things from last week, constantly replaying things from the same week. It's one thing during a match if there's a cool spot to do a replay. I think they do it too much, but that doesn't quite bother me as much. It's the, hey, let's show you what just happened before the commercial break, or hey, let's show you what happened earlier tonight. Hey, let's show you what happened 5 minutes ago. It's done all the time. And you know what? They've got 3 hours to fill, and they don't have good enough writers to figure out how to fill it. But to be honest, it shouldn't be a 3-hour show. It needs to be a 2-hour show. It's one of the reasons why SmackDown is often a more entertaining show to watch, because it's only 2 hours. But which I didn't watch SmackDown this week, unfortunately, because apparently there was a match where Bo Dallas teamed with the New Day. How the hell did I miss that? Bo Dallas and the New Day? Fucking A. Two of my favorites. I love me some Bo Dallas and I love me some New Day. Speaking of the New Day, Kofi and Neville had a really good match, but there's this moment where through the whole match, Xavier Woods is freaking great in this role. He is hilarious. I love these parts where he gets mad, and when they're trying to do the New Day rocks clap, and the crowd is chanting New Day sucks, there are just times he just loses it. He'll just scream, "Why?" And it's funny as hell. But during this match, he grabbed a camera from one of the cameramen, photographers taking pictures around the ring, and starts taking pictures of Kofi. I actually got a shot of that in the image for this week's episode. Gold. Comedy gold. It was great. The New Day are just hitting it. I mean, they're becoming heels was the best thing for them, and they're just doing great. The crowd in this episode just really sucked. One other thing, a couple things that people talk about a lot, especially with John Cena, is his really loud spot calling during a match, to the point where the mics pick it up, people in the crowd can hear it. Well, it was really bad in the Sheamus Roman Reigns match, which that match actually sucked anyway. I can't really decide what I think about Sheamus. Sheamus has his supporters that think he's pretty good, and then there are people that think he's an oaf. I'm leaning toward oaf. He's just so bland. Even his whole attempt, the turning him heel was a good idea. Trying to make him, because he's a big dude, he does look like he will F you up. And apparently, the injury that's keeping Daniel Bryan out is a massive concussion that he suffered in a match against Sheamus right after WrestleMania on SmackDown. What caused it, who knows? It could have been the headbutts he was giving to Sheamus. It could have been when he went out of the ring and hit his head on the table. Or it could have been a shitty-ass bro kick from Sheamus. Who knows? But Sheamus is more times than not, he's painful to watch. About 6-9 months ago, he had a series of matches with Cesaro for the U.S. title that were fantastic. But he had a match with Cesaro. Like I've said a million times, Cesaro and a paper bag can have a great match. That's the kind of talent Cesaro is. So yeah, that was... And Roman Reigns is also another guy. You get Roman Reigns working with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. You get the three of those guys together, like we saw at that fatal 4-way match a few pay-per-views ago. What was that? Extreme Rules? Fuck, I can't remember. But that moment when the three of them teamed up against Randy Orton, that's where Roman Reigns shines, not as a singles competitor. He's just not there yet. So during this match, he's just kind of hard to watch, especially when he's in the ring with a guy who can be hard to watch. Bray Wyatt interrupted the match with he was backstage and in a room and it was made to look like he had Roman Reigns' daughter with him. But the couple things about this that really worked, and this is another reason why I just love Roman Reigns, love Bray Wyatt, is Wyatt kept using the phrase "anyone but you," talking about Roman Reigns. And that is something that the fans, especially at the Royal Rumble, have been saying, anyone but Roman Reigns. And I think it is brilliant to have Bray Wyatt using that against Roman Reigns. And what I would love to see at some point in this feud is to see a double turn. To see Roman Reigns turn heel and Bray Wyatt turn face. Because Bray Wyatt can still be knucking futz and be a face. And really, I think the money in Bray Wyatt is going to be as a babyface. And Roman Reigns needs to turn heel. And then apparently Triple H has been wanting to do it, and Vinnie Mac is against it, well, because he's just old and delusional. Reigns ran into the back, found the room where Bray Wyatt had been filming that, and there were all these pictures of Roman Reigns on the wall with his eyes and mouth cut out. It was pretty creepy. I like where this feud is going, just because I really like Bray Wyatt, and I think the two of these guys can bring out the best in each other. I mean, just think about those matches and the feud that the Wyatts and the Shield had. It was fantastic. So I think we have a lot we can look forward to with this. One other thing, going back for a second to the Xavier Woods, or the Kofi Kingston Neville match, the crowd overall on Raw was awful, but they really were getting into Neville. And Neville, yeah, he lives in the mid-card right now, and he probably will for a while. But I think WWE's doing a pretty damn good job getting him over. Crowds are really into him, and how can you not be? I mean, watching the guy work, it's a joy. So I like what's going on there. I think him going against the New Day is a lot of fun. I mean, the New Day guys are a ton of fun, like I've said. And then you get a guy with the talent of Neville, and it's just, how can you not have a glorious time watching that? We then had a John Cena segment, which was a John Cena segment. He got interrupted by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is great. The funniest part about this is John Cena at one point called Owens a suck bag. That made me laugh. But otherwise, the thing you need to know about this is Kevin Owens is the freaking man, and I can't wait to see Kevin Owens win the U.S. title at Battleground. And that better be what happens. The payoff to this freaking feud better be Kevin Owens winning the title, winning the feud. Done. Even though then they'll have a rematch, which Kevin Owens needs to win. Adam Rose and Dolph Ziggler had a match. It was a good match. I mean, Adam Rose is a good worker. Dolph Ziggler is amazing. WWE has really dropped the ball with Adam Rose, especially coming out of that E60 special where you learned about Ray LaPont, I think is his real name. And, you know, he seems like a nice freaking dude. And they have screwed the pooch on this sucker so bad. Putting him with Rosa Mendez and having them make out, especially after seeing the story of him being this wonderful family man and whatnot. Ugh, it's just gross. And his mustache is... The mustache goatee thing he's got going on right now is also kind of gross. Sorry. Ugh, God dang it, it is early. Anyway. One thing, though, speaking of Rose being a great worker, is this man has the best spine buster in wrestling since Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson, I think, still has the greatest spine buster of all time. I'm going to put Adam Rose at second. So his spine buster is fantastic. So during this match, Rusev is watching from the back, and he just when Ziggler starts, after he wins the match, starts making out with Lana and taking her hair down, Rusev loses it. I mean, he has a 2-year-old-esque temper tantrum, and it was so unintentionally funny. And he falls down at one point. Oh my God, it was just hilarious. And I still think, I mean, because he's got his screwed up foot, he can barely walk, and he just has this conniption freaking meltdown, and it was so funny. I don't think they meant it as comedy, but it was funny. And then Summer Rae shows up and is like, Lana's not worth it, and walks off. That's about all I can say about that. Just the conniption fit, though. Hilarious. So the show ended with the Authority comes out, and Seth Rollins is yammering, asking forgiveness of the Kane and J&J. Brock Lesnar's music hits, and this crowd finally wakes up and starts to go ballistic. Eventually, Lesnar gets beat down by the group. In the process, he broke some of Jamie Noble's ribs, which is funny. Not because he hurt the guy, just because he's so huge and poor Jamie Noble's so tiny, and he just accidentally broke the fool's ribs. And there was a beat down, and that's how we went off the air. Watching every time Brock Lesnar shows up, it's great. Crowds get into it. He's a hell of an attraction. I didn't hate this beatdown as much as a lot of people did. My note was that was a good segment overall, is what I actually wrote down. I haven't gone back and rewatched it. I can totally understand why people weren't digging it, but you can't have Lesnar look, unbeatable. And even though the Authority folks have forgiven Seth Rollins for now, doesn't mean that they're still not going to turn on him. And something in watching Triple H the last few weeks, he's almost taken this tweener role where he's getting pretty antagonistic with Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is such a chicken shit, and it's actually a lot of fun to watch. I would love to see Triple H go from being a heel authority figure to a tweener, or maybe even a babyface authority figure, or just he could take the role that Niles McGuinness takes in Ring of Honor, where he's just an authority figure, matchmaker kind of thing, and doesn't really take one side or the other too much. He's pretty fair down the middle. I'd like to see them eventually go that way. Probably a tweener would be the best thing. But I think at some point we're going to see Kane and them lose it, and turn on Seth Rollins, and who knows what's going to happen at Battleground. I mean, you have to do this beatdown with Rollins like they did the last Monday, or with Lesnar, to show that he is not invincible. To try to make this seem like a reasonable fight, because otherwise you look at this and you're like, well, Rollins is dead. He's not going to be able to, stand up to Brock Lesnar, and I guess we'll see what happens. I don't have a whole ton of faith, but in this match for some reason, but we'll see. And finally, last week we got some very sad news. Last Monday, Nature Boy Buddy Landel passed away. Buddy Landel was he and Ric Flair both took on the moniker of Nature Boy, which was originally done by Buddy Rogers way back in the, I want to say, 50s. Buddy Landel was a staple in the territories, especially in the NWA territories back in the 80s. He had, I think he had a small run in WWE, but he was mostly in, Crockett guy. And he worked with J.J. Dillon a little bit. It's sad that he passed away. I don't really know any of the particulars, but my condolences go out to him and his family. I do remember when I first saw Buddy Landel being confused how there were two people running around calling themselves a Nature Boy. And if you go back and you look at pictures of him, he had the same haircut as Ric Flair, which they both basically pilfered from Buddy Rogers. At some point, the two of them had a match for the Nature Boy moniker. Ric Flair won, even though Landel kept using the name. And so yeah, it's sad. Another sad loss. So to the friends and family of Buddy Landel, my condolences, and thoughts and prayers go out to you and yours. So rest well, buddy. Hope you find the squared circle in the sky is a place that takes good care of you. that's going to do it for this week of Around the Ring. We appreciate you guys listening in. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Around the Ring OK. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Around the Ring OK. Our homepage is aroundtheringok.wordpress.com. You can find all of our episodes, past episodes there. You can also find us on Spreaker, and you can listen to us on one of the best damn places on the interwebs, Kings of Wrestling Radio, KOWradio.weebly.com. Tons of great shows there you can check out. Make sure you do. Send those guys some love. And if you are a wrestling podcast host and you want to have possibly have your show on the KOW Radio Network, there's an application on the website. Just click on that, fill it out, and the guys will get back with you. And hopefully you'll become part of the family. It's great. It's growing. Lots of great podcasts on there, so you definitely got to check it out. And that's it for this week. Next Monday we'll be back. We'll talk about the Beast from the East event in Tokyo, and anything else that comes up in wrestling. We'll see what happens. I hope everyone has a great week, and as a great Jerry Springer always says, take care of yourselves and each other.
You've been listening to Around the Ring on the Spark Radio Network.
All you have to do is change your point of view and believe.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Bam! Woo!
This sucks more than anything that I've ever fucked before.
What? It's for charity.